Lovely autumn day in the woods. The lovely Mr. H. Like to talk about the Syrian refugee crisis. What's it all about? Over to you, Mr. H.
Well, obviously, I think they've been a gate with this now since 2011, haven't they? There's been trouble and strife there. But you have to ask yourself, why suddenly now? Why suddenly now is it a big thing to, the world must help
Basically,
these people.
They want a sad out. And they told us they weren't in Syria, but it transpires recently we've been doing airstrikes on Syria, haven't we, for 2 years or something like that. Public fucking, once again, public opinion doesn't come into it.
No.
These people, Obama and Cameron, are basically spokespeople for a bigger concern. The bigger concern is what wants Syria.
The thing is with it though, this is what annoys me, is there's been this child, hasn't there, that's been washed up on...
Alleged child,
but even so, they've all come out, these politicians, boo-hooing over this child. First of all, any child dies, it's a tragedy.
Yeah.
Right? Doesn't matter what colour, race, creed they are. The other thing I've got to ask is, what happens when Israel are attacking Gaza?
Yeah.
Firing missiles indiscriminately into Gaza?
Taking the size of Palestine since 1945 is minuscule compared to what it was. The land that's been fucking seized by Israel. The atrocities that Israel commit on the Palestinian people.
Where's your tears then?
But if you come out and speak out against Israel, you're anti-Semitic.
The other thing is regarding Assad. He's been in power for one hell of a long time. These dictators get in these places and they're there till they die.
But they keep order.
Well, what I'm saying is he wasn't this benevolent leader, and then suddenly and recently he suddenly thought, you know what, my people need to know who's boss here. I'm going to be an absolute arsehole with them.
Yeah.
He always has been. But they turned a blind eye to it. It was like Saddam Hussein. He was in Good Lads Club because he was attacking Iran.
But they keep order. They keep everything in its place. Gaddafi, they keep the countries in the place.
Well, sadly, yes, they do. I mean, look at the lawlessness that's just descended into. Well, it's absolute chaos over there now.
And ISIS, which I don't really believe. I believe ISIS. Mr. H doesn't have to share these views. I believe ISIS basically is a bogeyman. It might be a small cell but the rest is funded by America. Because why would if ISIS were a real threat, they'd have pounced on them straight away. But they let them run a fucking mock in the Middle East kind of thing, But I think ISIS is a fucking bogeyman.
Well, I would say they certainly use them to scare people. I
mean, Al Qaeda. Recently they were friends in Syria. They were fighting. September the 11th, Al Qaeda was the fucking Antichrist. Now, they're friends again.
Well, the thing is with it, it's that old. There's an Arabic saying, I believe, isn't there? My enemy's enemy is my friend.
Yeah.
And that's how they try and do business. They're just trying to play one side off against the other. But no, regarding this Syrian crisis, going back to that, I hate to say this, but it was same when Yugoslavia descended into chaos, and there was problems there. These places will not get on their feet by removing the people. The people in them countries have to rebuild the countries themselves. By all means, as West, let's give them help.
A lot of them have fucked off and left the wives and children there, though, haven't they?
Well, exactly. And there was talk of that bloody bloke who pushed his wife and kids under a train.
And there's pictures of fucking some who's called a refugee, and he's about 20 stone on steroids, and he's not like your average picture of a starving refugee. It's.
And the thing is, as well, you're supposed. It's quite clear on this that if people are getting asylum, they've got to go to the first safe country.
Hang
on, I like it further down the road. I'm going to pass through all these countries and get down there because I think that's a better bet.
Yeah, well, exactly. It's plus there's the thing why Europe's taking all these refugees in is it fits with the agenda of dismantling national sovereignty in each country because now in our countries our sovereignty and our nationality is really, it's becoming daily a thing of the past. Our cultures and our ways of life are dying, you know what I mean, and the British way and every other country, and it's all they just want one big fucking homogeneous state, really, and this serves that. This is one of the things that serves that purpose, or as well highlighting to the plight to the world of what a cunt of sad is. Look at all these people, they're all filtering out, you know what I mean. We created ISIS and whatever, we fucked everything up, and now we're blaming other people, you know what I mean.
I think what you've got to look at as well and ask yourself is, if the roles were reversed and it was Europe that was descending into this chaos and the Middle East was stable and people were trying to, you know, exit via Bulgaria into Turkey, etc., and through into the Middle East, would they stand it? Would they say, oh, you know, welcome? You know, no, I don't think they would. I think they'd set up a killing zone, and if you crossed it, like it's old East and West Germany,
yeah,
you'd be a goner.
Yeah, it's
And one thing they certainly wouldn't stand is you tipping up and saying, you know, in one of their countries, if I went Saudi Arabia on my holiday and I like a beer, as people have seen on here, if I went walking down the street, I'd be clapped in irons and probably stoned. Why? Because that's not their culture. And it should be the same when they come over here. They should respect the culture of the host nation.
Yeah.
I'm sorry if that sounds racist.
Yeah.
But ultimately, you have to respect when you go, as in Rome, as the old saying.
Absolutely. You know, I mean, me and Mr H aren't racist, you know what I mean. Someone actually made a comment like that. Did you see it on that when we did a video about fascism, and I said the anti-fascists are just as bad or even worse than the fascists, and then they said, oh yeah, are you going on some fucking march? Well, it's not really, because fascism and anti-fascism is the same thing, you know what I mean. It's you know, imposing your will on someone else. It's fascism. Now, if you think that's a good will you're imposing on them, you're still imposing your fucking will.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah,
people are allowed their own minds to think things.
Even if it's
you know, you know, if I see people sharing EDL stuff on my wall, I fuck them off, because it's not really well thought out. But you know, you can't stop them from thinking that. It's just you don't want to see it. You know what I mean? It's
at the end of the day, regarding countries that are in chaos, it needs the peoples of them countries to say, let's rebuild our nation.
Yeah.
And rebuild it bigger and better than it was before. By all means, give them help, but just removing them out of that country isn't solving that problem, and it never will.
No. I think we'll leave it there, Mr H, on 8 minutes 12.
Yes.
See you later. Go and get a cup of tea, you've earned it.